Good evening, everyone. This is a final update on the Clipper that is diving through the region. We had one earlier this evening. Now all the premium and public updates are done, so I wanted to follow up. Based on the observations, it's looking very marginal out there. Temperatures basically right now are falling through the 40s. We have a few upper 30s here around Williamsport, but much of northeastern Pennsylvania is still well above freezing. In fact, the freezing line is still way back off to the west. Now, this does not mean this storm's going to bust, but it certainly would suggest more the lower end of the forecast right now is more likely to verify than not. Taking a look at the latest radar here, we have some pretty heavy precipitation diving in, and this is going to help to cool the atmosphere. Now, when I take a look at the latest QT, there's a lot of dry air here in the mid-levels, and this kind of works both ways. In one hand, yes, it cuts down the precipitation potential, but because precipitation is falling so heavy under these observations, here, take a look at when you see 4 dots here, that means very heavy rainfall. Yeah, it's rain right now, but it's also cooling the atmosphere because of all this dry air. So what happens is that you're getting this heavy precipitation thrown into the dry air. It rapidly cools the atmosphere, drops your temperatures down to the wet bulb, and that's how you approach your freezing mark. On the other hand, the temperatures at 850 millibars are a bit warmer than what has been forecasted, and that's going to be an issue because your snow ratio, that's the ratio between water and the actual ice crystal, is more likely to be around 8-to-1 or maybe 10-to-1, a very wet snowfall. So if you have any treatment on roadways, it's going to make it harder for accumulation and generally lead to your roadways being more wet than not, especially as you head down towards the coastal plain. We do have cold air transport starting to work its way in, but this 850 millibar low is, well, poorly developed. So it's not really all that impressive. Now, why is that the case? Well, this feature right here, let me pull up the water vapor satellite picture. This feature right here is a little bit further south and a little bit stronger. Not by much, but just enough. And that's leading to convergence and confluence. You see this little area right here that is glowing a little bit yellow here? That is because of sinking air. And it's also acting like basically a big wheel that's crushing a rock. This is the rock, this is the wheel, and it's getting crushed. So what's happening is that our Clipper that's coming in that's very energetic is starting to get crushed and weakened. Now that was expected, but this looks like it's happening a little bit faster. So the cooling rate of this Clipper is being limited a little bit. So this is definitely producing some heavier precipitation. I expect that to help to cool the layer of the atmosphere, to get us down towards freezing, to support the snowfall accumulation, especially over central and east central Pennsylvania. But as you head towards the coast, it's going to get harder and harder for that accumulation to actually verify if you went anywhere above 2 inches on this event. And that's talking about cold surfaces. So a lot of the earlier model guidance was very robust, producing 3, 4, 5 inches of snow. It just isn't going to happen because of the current environment that we have in place now. Now, the HRR guidance is basically doing the best job in terms of the mesoscale models and handling this event. And as you can see, it's a very fast-moving Clipper, moving at a pretty steady pace. And by the time we get to 7 a.m., most of the precipitation is done with this system. The bulk of our precipitation could be expected from 11 o'clock to around 5 a.m. And then after that, we start to clear out. The morning rush hour really shouldn't be too bad, but watch out for some slick road conditions, especially over northeastern Pennsylvania and northern New Jersey. The forecast overall has not changed, although I do expect more likely for this to verify in the low end than the high end. So again, we're looking at a trace to 1 inch around Philadelphia, New York, central New Jersey, locations around the Hudson River Valley up towards the Poconos. In zone 2, we're looking at 1 to 3 inches again, more likely to be on that 1 inch side around locations like Allentown and Scranton. And then zone 3 is where we start to move towards the western suburbs of Allentown, where we could see 3 to 6 inches as you move up into your higher elevations. Again, more likely on the lower end of that precipitation scale. That is your update for tonight. We'll see what turns out by tomorrow morning. And as always, stay safe out there.